Hey everybody! Today I wanted to talk about the Marie Kondo Netflix series. I don't know if you've heard about it, if you've watched it, if you want to watch it. So I thought I'd just give my opinion because I watched it to kind of motivate myself to start cleaning up again. And yeah, so I don't know how many episodes there are anymore. I think like 8, 10, I'm not really sure. Not too many, but they're all about like 40 minutes length, I think. And yeah, I just wanted to let you know what I liked, what I didn't like, and some things I learned that, at least as I remember, were not in the books, and that kind of had a little spark of inspiration in me when I heard about it, and we're like, yeah, you can do that. So I wanted to tell you about all of these things, and let's get right into it. So I wanted to start off by saying that I didn't really think the first episode was a good first episode. So if you like try to watch it and you were like, the first episode, it doesn't really grab my attention much. I can fully understand that because it was the same for me. The first episode deals with a young family with 2 small children, so nothing bad about that, but I don't know, it felt like the atmosphere and the family, and I think that's what you were supposed to see, but yeah, it was just really stressful because the family was so stressed out, and yeah, it kind of came back to me, and I didn't really enjoy that. But what I did like, and that was actually the same in every episode, but in the first episode especially, was that it was so emotional when Marie greeted the house. Like, they always play this really peaceful music and everyone is just sitting there, and I think in the first episode the family did it alongside her, thanking their house for the protection and the security that they have. And yeah, that made me really emotional just now thinking about it. I thought that was really nice because yeah, our house is just our safe space. It protects us from everything, whether it is the weather or maybe just like emotional stress outside. So I really enjoyed when they greeted the house. So aside from that, like, I always took notes on every episode, but yeah, there wasn't really much I particularly enjoyed about the first episode. I also don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, I think, but that was like in general of the entire series. There, I think there was only one episode where they clearly mentioned the vision, which is really stressed in the book, that you need to have a vision so that you will stick to the motivation, and I think they only did that in one episode where they actually showed which motivation the people wanted or had, so that they were tidy, and I missed that a lot in the series. So yeah, that was all for episode 1, I think. The second episode, actually, I found was a great episode because while the first house, which is only natural, I think that's like most people's houses, but like the second house was so much worse when it came to clutter. It was an older couple, and yeah, just they lived there so many years, and of course you just accumulate stuff if you just don't throw things away. So this episode kind of shocked me because the woman, she owns so many clothes, and to be honest, I always looked forward to the clothing part because I struggle with clothes myself a lot. So when I saw that, I was like, wow. She had, like, even Marie Kondo said that this woman had the highest pile of clothes she had ever seen, and it was all on one bed, and it was insane. And this, compared to the first episode, this really grabbed my attention. And yeah, then after, like, of course they talk through the clothes. Then what I also found interesting was, like, the man had some card collection, and it was very emotional for him. But so I was really interested to see what he would do with it. But what I didn't really like about the entire series, when it came to that, was that I was really interested in seeing the process, but instead of showing me how he did it, they only showed me the result. So for someone that maybe wants to do the same thing and is struggling because they don't really know how to deal with all of these emotions that obviously come to you when you start something that's important to you or that you've been collecting. And yeah, I really missed that in the entire series. They didn't show a lot of the process. They just showed the beginning and then what it ended up with, and yeah, it was a bit disappointing for me, but still I enjoyed watching this episode a lot because yeah, it was just so shocking, and you kind of saw the change in the couple as well, because they did it together. The man didn't even want to do it in the first place, but then it was just really a great thing for their relationship. And yeah, I just enjoyed that episode in general. It was one of my favorite episodes, and yeah, that's all I'm going to say about it for now. So about episode 3, I'm not gonna say too much this time, because it was another family with children, and the children were a little older this time, so they could do some tidying themselves. And like, the main problem in the house was that the children or the other family members didn't really feel responsible to do any of the cleaning. Like, they moved from a bigger space into a smaller space, and everywhere, like, when I saw at the beginning of the episode, I was like, how can you live there? Because they just had bags lying around, because obviously they hadn't moved in too long ago, and probably were just too lazy or overwhelmed to open all their bags, because they knew they wouldn't have enough space to put all of it. So yeah, basically the mom did everything, and I I kind of don't know what to say, because I don't want to spoil anything for any of you trying to watch it. But yeah, it's just yeah, it kind of frustrated me to see this attitude in the beginning, but still I thought the shift you could see in the way people thought about tidying was really interesting. And yeah, things, when I see these shifts, that really motivates me myself to actually get to work again. So that was motivational for me to see how they started tidying and what they accomplished. So because the notes I took for the last few episodes were not as specific on what it was about, but more of like key points I noted to myself of things that I found really helpful. Yeah, we're gonna talk about what I learned from the series. So I took some notes here, and in the 4th episode, I'm not entirely sure if it was the episode with the woman that had lost her husband, but yeah, that was very emotional. I'm not sure if it was the 4th episode or not, but yeah, judging from my notes, it mentioned the first time the future vision, and yeah, I think it was that episode because I also wrote down something that probably Marie Kondo said, that even if you are tidying alone, or you think you're tidying alone, you're not alone, because the things that surround you are with you and support you. So I don't know. I really like this approach to things that it's not just stuff we bought, but it's really supposed to add value to our life. So that was something that really stuck with me, which is why I wanted to share it with you. Sorry if I'm glancing to my left a lot right now, but there are my notes and I don't want to forget anything. So yeah, it also pointed out, which is important for me, that getting stuck with emotional items isn't good, because obviously you get stuck because you haven't honed your skills enough, and that is something that happens to me a lot, because the first category is supposed to be clothes, and clothes are somehow really emotional for me. I don't know. So yeah, which is why my first organizing video on the channel was papers, because this is the least emotional to me. So yeah, that's why I changed the order around a little bit, and I think that's okay as long as you like do it the way you think it's good for you. So some people might disagree with me, but I really think that works best for me. So yeah, anyway, I was drifting off. Another idea I found really interesting was that you can store photographs either by year or by event, and like when I thought about it, I actually tend to store my photographs by event, but I myself don't have that many like in physical form, so I need to sort my laptop as well when it comes to that. And yeah, but when I think about it, my parents actually, they store some by event, but I don't think they have all of it organized from the older photos. So I thought that was a really good hint that you have more options than you might think. So yeah, that was another point. And then in the beginning, which I thought was also a very important hint, was that you are really supposed to, if you don't really get it in the beginning, then you really have to search for an item that clearly sparks joy for you. Like when you're doing clothes and you have your absolute favorite dress or your favorite sweater, and you know you wear it all the time, you feel good in it, you like the way it looks, all of that, then yeah, I really thought that was a good way to learn it. If you really take all of your favorite items and you know that feeling because they are your favorite, I really thought that was a good hint as well. So that was another important point I wrote down for myself. And another point I really liked: discovering what's difficult for you is also part of the process, which is understanding what sparks joy. So if you're struggling like me and you find out that, for example, like I have problems with clothes, sorting them, putting them away. Like realizing that has helped me because now I know that I can start off with papers, which is a lot easier for me. So yeah, I just really think that if it works for you, then just do something else. Or if you realize that it's difficult, then you also know that this is some like a category that maybe you have to work on again later, which is also a possibility because she says that that's what a lot of her clients do after she finished the first process with them. So yeah. And another hint I liked was that if you feel stuck, that there are ways that you can purify your space, which of course once again is obvious that it stems from her work at a temple, because she recommends that you can open your windows and let in some fresh air to get the old air out of the room, or that you like can burn some incense, purify the space through that. And what I also found really interesting, and I wanted to read books on that as well, that she also recommended that you can create a sound. She had like one of these balls that make noise, I think. I'm not entirely sure what it was anymore, but like she just made the sound and it had this vibration, and there's a lot of theories going on with vibration, how people enjoy life based on like waves. So I found that really interesting because it just seemed to like connect with a lot of different categories. So if you want to try that out, if you feel stuck, then feel free to do so. Another hint was to light a candle to purify your room, kind of the same with incense, I think. So yeah, she said by creating smoke it purifies the room. And with that last sentence that I just read as an explanation, I want to end this video, and I hope it maybe inspired you to watch it. Maybe you got some hints from it. I don't know, this video was a bit of a mess, but I just wanted to do it because I took so many notes on it, but I didn't know how to sort them properly. So yeah, this was kind of my review. I like the series and I would watch it again because I'm a huge fan of her method of having an organized and happy life. So if you really need motivation to maybe get started or to start over, then I would recommend watching the series to you because it's really motivating. Seeing the people struggling, knowing you're not alone, knowing you can do it, is really motivating for me. And yeah, I really hope that you liked this video and maybe I motivated you myself a little, but yeah, that's all I want to say for now. So thank you for watching, and I hope I'll see you again in the next video. And yeah, I'll try to clean up now. So see you again. Bye!